recall sitting here on Fridays. Now, I knew that it would be in the blink of an eye, as though it would feel when I would be back with you. It would be starting off another full week's worth of news here at Your News Today, and indeed, that's the case. It's not all good news either. We do have your weather, which is changing for more of a winter outlook before maybe making a return back to more warm and somewhat wet weather. It's a pattern and a trend that we've been following and will continue to do so, but a cold front is going to give us a chance of some colder air and a chance of some snow showers later on in the week. We'll talk about all of that in your weather forecast in just a few moments. And I sat today with some faithful viewers of ours, I'm so blessed and pleased to say, who I'm not so pleased to say in any form or fashion were once again the target of a crime, this time after a home invasion, a horrific incident back 2 years ago. Their house was robbed as they were at church on Sunday. We'll talk with Orville and Hazel Adams in just a few seconds, hoping that someone out there can help solve this crime. The Parkway has seen some action today in regards to, was going to see some more action, I guess is perhaps more accurate. A new phase getting ready to begin. A new show set for the MAC that caught my eye and maybe will catch your eyes and ears. And a whole lot of other news and information as we start off this week. Before we get to those headlines and others, we understand that Attorney General Andy Beshear has released information following a weeks-long investigation into a Floyd County man, which has landed him in jail on child pornography charges. Beshear says that in an effort to better protect Kentucky's kids, they have announced the arrest of a Floyd County man charged with one count of possession or viewing of matter portraying a sexual performance by a minor and one count of distribution of matter portraying a sexual performance by a minor. 49-year-old Kenneth Lewis of Prestonsburg was arrested on the 19th last week following the execution of a search warrant at his home by cyber investigators with Beshear's Cyber Crimes Unit. They tell me via the press release that the arrest of Lewis was the result of a 3-week undercover investigation by the Cyber Crimes Unit into the online trading of images and videos that depict the sexual exploitation of children. The Cyber Crimes Unit was reportedly assisted by officers from the Kentucky State Police out of Post 9 in Pikeville and agents with the Federal Department of Homeland Security investigations as well. Lewis is right now housed in the Floyd County Detention Center. I couldn't get a photograph of him today, but was scheduled to be arraigned in Floyd County Court on last Friday. The investigation continues, we are also told. They also say that this arrest is part of Operation Shielded Child, an initiative by Attorney General Beshear's Department of Criminal Investigations to identify and investigate and arrest those who do harm to children. So far, that effort, if you will, has led to about 80 arrests, indictments, and convictions of online child predators over the last year. I'll have more on Lewis and some more details about the cases. We started working on that today, and we hope to have more beginning tomorrow, if not later on in the week. I mean, it's just so disheartening. I mean, it was just a few days ago that I sat down with a friend of ours, Wallace Conley. He and his daughter in her home, and they opened up their hearts and their homes and spoke of freely the incident where he was the subject of a home invasion at his home over in Johnson County just days ago. How someone burst in on him, beat him, left him for dead, and stole what personal items that they could get their hands on before fleeing. And of course, I had an in-depth interview and a report on that and the arrest that took place, fortunately, soon thereafter. So tonight, on that note, a similar situation. Back in September of 2014, I had the unfortunate duty of spending some time, as wonderful as it was, but not under those circumstances, with some very faithful viewers of mine who watch the show every night, they tell me, and confirmed and reminded me today. It was just a day after someone had burst in on them. I believe most of you recalling the case of Hazel and Orville Adams on 114 in Floyd County, but of course with a great deal of family and ties here to the McGoffin County area for reasons that we don't have to really explain to everyone. But you may recall that night or that morning around 4 o'clock in September of 2014, a man rang their doorbell. Hazel went to the door. He burst his way in. Another man followed. They literally taped him up, tied him up in their own kitchen, put a gun in Orville's mouth, repeatedly threatened to kill them both and leave them for dead. Spent about an hour or so tearing their house completely apart, stealing whatever they could, loading up their TV, personal items, guns, tools, whatever they could in the back of their pickup truck before fleeing the scene. And then Hazel was the first to finally work her way loose from the duct tape. Authorities were able to get a fingerprint off of that duct tape. That case is actually still ongoing. I'll have an update for you in just a few seconds. So all of that taking place a little more than 2 years ago now. And then again, this past Sunday, while at church, their house was indeed yet robbed again. Yes, as the Adamses had made their usual Sunday trip to church, which is probably why their home was targeted at that time in broad daylight, they returned home afterwards, got out of the car, and found that someone had kicked their door in.
And when we looked in, they had kicked the door in. There was big footprints on it. And the casing was all busted off, and it was laying back in the house.
They tell me that after they made sure no one was inside and called police, they made their way on throughout their home, only to find that someone had not only broken in, but had literally turned their house upside down and took their TV, tools, guns, personal belongings, basically anything of value.
And when we entered into our kitchen, all of our kitchen cabinet doors was open, and the drawers were pulled out, and a lot of the drawers were in the floor, and they had dumped all the silverware out into the floor, and they had poured a lot of the other stuff all into the floor. And then when we got to looking for medicine to see if it was still there, and they had taken every bit of it, there wasn't a bottle left of nothing of the medicine. They even took a big bag of toilet tissue, 24 packs of that toilet tissue. They even took it.
And it just keeps getting worse. Not only did they take all those items, and they're still trying to assess just exactly what was taken, and it might take days or weeks to do so, but they even carried out the items that they stole, for example, in a couple of drawers that they had removed from 2 pieces of furniture, thus destroying those 2 pieces because now they have a drawer missing that they will surely never be able to match or replace. They took about 6 of Orville's father's and grandfather's guns, not worth much to anyone else but priceless to him, and they even stole some tools and other items that the Adamses had just replaced from the first robbery.
Later on I got looking. They took me a DeWalt drill, a DeWalt saw, and 2 weed eaters. And one weed eater I bought last spring cost now over $700.
And that's stuff that you bought to replace the stuff that was stolen the first time, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, all that was bought to replace the first time.
As of right now, the only lead that we can pass along to you is that through an outpouring of support from the community and neighbors and folks who just drive by and know Orville and Hazel, they have been able to relay to authorities and to the Adams is that someone did see a pickup truck, a gray or brown pickup truck, rusted out to some degree, sitting in their driveway or under their carport while they were gone to church Sunday morning, and that one of the neighbors heard a loud pickup truck start up and then pull out and head towards Prestonsburg. So they're hopeful that this report may gather some more details for they and the police. And as I sat here listening to their ordeal, I couldn't help but just wonder, how do you deal with this? How does someone go through what they went through 2 years ago? And how does it affect them? As I tried to think to myself, how would it affect me?
It has had effect on us a whole lot because at that time, 2 years ago, anybody that come needing help or anything to our door of a night, I always went to the door to see what I could do for them. But when they come that night and come in on us, and we went to the door, they rang the doorbell, and they throwed a gun in our face, I said after that I would never let anybody in of a night. And we didn't. We've had them once or twice since then. They'd ring our doorbell at night, and we wouldn't get up and go to the door. And they'd just leave. But now if we ever catch anybody in here or something like that, we've got guns waiting for them. They'll sure get shot. I'd hate to have to shoot somebody, but now they get shot if we ever catch them in here or if they try to break in on us.
And I'd like to say, if anybody out there by sure had seen any kind of vehicle or anything, to report it to us. and their name would not be mentioned.
And in an update, all of this happening has brought me to question the first case and where it stands today. And what I've learned thus far is that Tanner Spears and Jonathan Weddington, the two men arrested and charged with kidnapping and other serious charges, are still in jail and still to be tried for the 2014 home invasion. It's my understanding, after speaking to a family member, mind you, of the Adamses, that prosecutors had reached a plea agreement with the two to serve 15 years. However, one of them balked at the deal, and now a jury trial has been set for later on in June of this year. Both remain jailed on, like I said, kidnapping and other serious charges, and I believe their bond even set at $1 million. But nevertheless, they are still yet to stand trial. We'll try to get some more details on that from Floyd County Attorney's Office on tomorrow's program and get you a more thorough update. But as of right now, Tanner Spears and Jonathan Weddington still jailed and still awaiting trial on the 2014 home invasion. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. More top headlines in just a few moments. Right now, an update about a top headliner coming to the Mountain Arts Center and a big-time local act that will likely steal the show beforehand. The Steep Canyon Rangers. Do they ring a bell with you? Well, if not, give me a second. I believe they will. The Grammy-winning bluegrass band from down around Asheville is performing Friday, February the 3rd at the MAC. They won the award for Best Bluegrass Album in 2013 for Nobody Knows You, and that was a project that drew celebrated comedian and entertainer and world-class banjoist Steve Martin, not to drop a few names, to call when he needed a backing band. And now that band is coming to the MAC. They're a bluegrass band at the core, but they can walk the line between the traditional sound and a sophisticated string orchestra. The Rangers' last release was 2015's Radio. It was produced by the legendary dobro maestro Jerry Douglas in their hometown of Asheville. I'll work a little bit of their music into the background between now and the show, but let me just tell you about it now. Acoustic Guitar Magazine described it as saying that there's strength in numbers, and it's given the ensemble a new depth, a sense of subtlety where the lines between different kinds of music are effortlessly crossed, recrossed, and crossed again. The website AllMusic states that Radio is an outstanding album from one of the most exciting new bands in bluegrass. And then if you know them best for their work with a certain talented banjo-playing comedian and actor, well, you owe it to yourself, as do we all, to find out how much they can do on their own. So the Steep Canyon Rangers live shows are becoming increasingly popular throughout the southeastern, really, United States. They were recently picked to play the famous Merle Fest in April. They'll be performing at the prestigious Stagecoach Festival in Indio, California, 2 days after that show. And the band just completed a 3-night stand at the Orange Peel in Asheville. Dale McCoury was a special guest, by the way. And the opening act for the evening will be Eastern Kentucky's own Tyler Childers, a Paintsville High School graduate, a rising Americana singer and songwriter. He has caught the eye of many fans and musicians alike, prompting outlaw country superstar Shooter Jennings to tweet that we have Chris Stapleton and Sturgill Simpson, my pick for the next up-and-coming Tyler Childers. The concert's Friday at the MAC. That's Friday, February the 3rd. Tickets are on sale for as little as $23. And for as little as nothing, you can get your announcements like the following put on our McCoffin Farm Bureau community calendar. That's right, nothing gets them on. All you have to do is make sure I get them. A reminder, the last one for this month, that the Water into Wine Food Pantry is serving our senior citizens tomorrow. They have their own day set aside at the food pantry tomorrow, 8:30 until noon. And the regular day of distribution will be the day following. That's Wednesday of this week for everyone else and seniors who may have missed or didn't want to come on Tuesday for whatever reason, 8 till 3:30. So senior day tomorrow morning starting at 8:30. Wednesday it starts at 8. my apologies, it's actually 8:30 for both days. You probably knew that. Chocolate-covered strawberries can be purchased, and the proceeds go to help support Project Graduation at the McGoffin County High School. You have until the 9th day of February to order a dozen. They're just $25, and you can pick them up on Valentine's Day. Milk or white chocolate, all beautiful and scrumptious. Call Becky Allen at the McGoffin County High School, 349-2011. And turning to funeral service announcements, a service provided by our friends at the McGoffin County Funeral Home. We've come in today to learn of the passing of 87-year-old Ova Hall of Rockhouse Fork Road, who passed away on the 21st on Saturday. He was married to Thelma Rice Hall, who survives. He's also survived by sons Elmer, Kenny, Joy, and Greg Hall, and daughters Gay Cottle and Rachel Gullett. Visitation is this evening, and up until services, they're set to begin tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock, all from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. And we've also learned of the passing of 70-year-old Jack Wendell Prater of Sagersville, who passed away on today's date. He was married to Gail Oney Prater, who survives. Jack's also survived by sons Patrick and Jack Prater Jr. and a daughter, Amy Fairchild. Visitation is going to start after 6 o'clock tomorrow evening and prior to Wednesday's services that begin at 1, all from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. More Mountain Parkway expansion news. This time, more work beginning on down the Mountain Parkway and to the west, if you will. Contractors are now officially starting work along another major stretch of the Mountain Parkway. This coming right up to the Morgan-McGoffin County line. And then some, actually. Work is going to begin this week. I guess probably not much going on today in the rain, but nevertheless, in the Morgan County segment, that's an 8.2-mile section of the parkway, actually in Wolf, Morgan, and McGoffin counties. Now, this improvement, or this series of improvements in this particular project, includes widening the parkway to 4 lanes between mile points 56 and 65. That will encompass right here the McGoffin-Morgan County line as well, taking out that S-curve there, which is, of course, we know, seen for many, many auto accidents and the site of some fatal. It will also improve and modernize the Lee City West Liberty interchange, exit 57 as we know it, and make improvements at the Johnson Fork exit or interchange at Kentucky 134, exit 60 as it will become more known. A joint venture between Highview LLC and Hayden Bridge Company. LLC was awarded a construction contract back in December. I've already kept you up to date on that for the 4-year project. And starting this week, construction crews will start to place signs that roadway work is underway, with the initial work including clearing areas along the parkway where construction is going to occur and placing those temporary barrier walls to protect workers and the traveling public at large. And keep in mind, of course, the speed limit in that area, like others, will be reduced to 45 miles per hour, and short stoppages could and will occur during barrier wall placements. However, no other traffic impacts are expected in the coming weeks at least. Construction work, of course, also underway along more than 8 miles of roadway to the east of the Morgan County segment in McGoffin County Central and the Restaurant Row segments of the expansion. Recently, crews completed work around the Gifford Road interchange that I've of course already updated you on, the new interchange serving the planned industrial park in McGoffin County and residents of that area. So indeed, a lot going on and still, of course, much more to go. And moving on to your weather, we've still got some more showers to go, lingering and clinging on to the eastern Kentucky and viewing area. Actually, for this rain event, 1 1/10 of an inch over the past several hours. We're talking about 4 inches total rainfall for the month thus far. And we're going to add some more to that. Showers are going to be ending over the next few hours. If you're catching the early show, you saw the radar. They're winding down and will be fewer and farther between as the evening goes on. But there is a chance of some slight showers throughout much more of the evening, just not adding up to a great big total. Nevertheless, I think we'll see some patchy fog because of all this moisture, otherwise cloudy skies, and I can't rule out, a 20% chance of some showers in the morning, maybe lingering up till 9 or 10. The bulk of which are already over, but you saw spotty showers continuing throughout most of the overnight here and there, not amounting to much more. Temperatures are going to amount to about 48 degrees on your Tuesday, and those showers lingering up until about maybe 11 or noon. Otherwise, it should be dry thereafter. That's not a complaint. Water levels have been on the increase, of course, and McGoffin County fared very well today. No rising water issues. Some other counties in eastern Kentucky seeing a bit more rain than we have. Nevertheless, by tomorrow night, we should see around 36 under nothing more than partly cloudy skies. Midweek, our next round of precipitation starts to work in. No sign of a cold front yet. 61 and 37 and partly sunny skies on your Wednesday. 20% chance of showers early. 20% chance of showers late on your Wednesday, too. But a little sun in the middle, and we'll see some dry hours on Wednesday. And now we'll start to see some signs of a coming cold front. And Thursday with 40 degrees, you can also expect to see mostly cloudy skies. 40% chance of some showers of the wet variety during the day. 20% of the white variety of showers Thursday night. And that will take us into Friday, where temperatures get just above freezing to around 35, 36 degrees, which means we also have a 20% chance of some snow showers Friday and into your Friday night. Not a big snowmaker as of right now, but some flakes to be flying, I do think. And as for the weekend right now, an early outlook looks to be 35 on your Saturday, partly sunny, and a 20% chance of some flurries, nothing more. Sunday, another 20% chance of snow showers, low 30s again. That's going to wrap it up for tonight. Already news on tap for tomorrow, and that will include a look at some high school basketball scores and schedules, as it's time to really focus in on that as we're getting ready to go into the home stretch for regular season play. So we'll hope that you'll join us back here tomorrow night for that and more news you'll only find right here on Your News Today. Good night, and thanks for watching.